So here we are, everyone, another month and another chapter of JoJolion. Welcome, I am xForts, and today we are going to be going over and having a discussion about the newest chapter of JoJolion, chapter 74, Poor Tom and Ozone Baby Part 3. This month we are treated with a pretty beefy chapter. It caps in at 47 pages, nearly 50 pages of manga this month, and it is much more eventful than last chapter. In retrospect, looking at chapter 73, it sucked. It was really bad. It was really short, and we just got an overcomplicated, dragged-out explanation for Ozone Baby's ability when we could pretty much identify what the stand's ability was just by the visuals and just by what Araki showed us, but he felt the need to explain, every little detail about the stand, list off like 5 Snapple facts about chemistry and air pressure, and it was just way longer than it needed to be. And the actual events that occurred that chapter, Jobin was outside the garage, he went back into the garage. That is all that happened. So luckily we have a much more eventful chapter that has a lot more plot progression and actually tension. It creates tension and stakes that have me worrying for characters. So let's get right into this chapter. Unfortunately, JoJolion did not make the cover of Ultra Jump this month, or at least it wasn't uploaded to the translator's website. Which is good. I feel like JoJolion just like dominates Ultra Jump every single month. I feel like we're on the cover, so let another one of those Ultra Jump series get the cover this month. So we're going to be starting off with just the cover page. Cover page, really simple, pretty much all the main protagonists that are going on this arc. So it's interesting because we have Mamazuku and Josuke paired up, and as well as Tsurugi and Jobin paired up. And there's some nice symbolism here. You guys all know that, the stands all in the Higashikata family, they all have kin in the name, sort of a theme there, and every single member of the family represents a card, whether it be like a jack, a joker, a queen, a king, something like that. And it's nice that Araki hasn't forgot that. Jobin's holding a briefcase with a king on it, so just slight symbolism there, but pretty decent cover page. Tsurugi looks as derpy as ever, and we just have those like really awkward and stiff body designs that Araki's into in his current art style. So with that said, let's get into the chapter. So the first few pages are really slow. It's just still Ozone Baby attacking, but we see what else it's doing and how it's affecting everyone. We see Hato and Daya, which are characters we haven't seen like actual full face portraits of in a really long time. I think we saw them back right before this arc started, but it was just small talk among the family. But we finally see Hato and Daya, but before they can do anything relevant, before they can help out Jobin and Tsurugi, they're completely taken out of the picture, and they are completely knocked unconscious by Ozone Baby. So if anyone was excited for seeing Norisuke, Joshu, Hato, or Dai, all these amazing members of the Higashikata family with tons of potential, no, that's not going to be happening. Araki does not want these people to be characters. Like, Hato is so cool that we've seen do, like, one thing in her fight against Damo. And Joshu has so much potential for being one of the best characters in JoJolion and having, like, a huge redemption for, like, he's not a very popular character. And so far he's been portrayed as, being kind of, like, mean, and not a lot of people like him because of that. But his character has so much potential for redemption. It'd be a really cool dude, but just axe all of it. No one in the family gets any attention. So really, we just see that we don't actually see Joshu and Norisuke. They're just mentioned that they're being affected, so I don't think we'll be seeing anything from them in the upcoming chapters. I think it's really going to stick to the 4 players we have right now, the 2 groups of protagonists that are both indirectly fighting Poor Tom. You have Jobin and his son, and then obviously Josuke and Mamazuku. And it's interesting to see how this works out, because obviously Josuke and Mamazuku are still in the tunnels, and they're trying to identify what's happening in this situation. Like, they don't know that there's a complete other fight. They think that they're just being attacked or something. So it's going to be interesting in the next chapter, probably seeing all of these worlds collide and all these conflicts of interest come into fruition and see the result of it. So for the first, I want to say like 5 pages this chapter, more Snapple facts, Araki talking about sperm in whales, and like not sperm in whales, but sperm whales, and how they can dive and just air pressure, and more Snapple facts. Ever since, if you guys haven't seen, so I believe the video is, this is basically JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's a really well animated video, and I'll link it down below in the description. I'm sure most of you guys have already seen it, but it's like, it's the most hilarious video, but it's also the most accurate video. I'm going to use that term a lot now. I'm stealing that term, Snapple facts, Araki writes. That's where he gets all of his information from stands. So moving on to the next scene here, we go to Poor Tom's perspective, but not before Tsurugi and Jobin sort of come up with a plan. They realize that Poor Tom is at a distance, it is a long-range stand, so they need to find a way to bring Poor Tom into the picture and bring him to the orchard. so they can actually fight him. And that's not uncommon. That's how a lot of arcs in JoJolion are. There's a long distance stand user. We got to find the stand user. Rather than them going out and searching because they can't leave their trap, they need to come up with an idea that is going to lure poor Tom in, which is a pretty creative but also a pretty risky idea. But we'll get to that later. Moving on to the new perspective, we have poor Tom, and he is actually hooking up with the woman that we saw him get her number in the parking lot in chapter 70, when he was like, oh, that girl was totally checking me out, Jobin, and she throws her number out. Yeah, poor Tom is licking vag right now, and it might seem like a super like bizarre thing to see in a manga, like, you know, this character like poor Tom, who design wise reminds me of Shigechi, going down on like this really beautiful woman. Yeah, it is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and as well, like, you see a lot more adult themes in Part 7 and Part 8. There's a lot, characters are designed more sexually, and you see more nudity in JoJolion. In the beginning, I believe in the first arc against Ojiro, Fun's user. Yeah, we saw some titties in that arc, but this arc, we just see, yeah, poor Tom licking vag, which isn't, like, don't freak out, guys. Most of us, if not all of us, are adults here. We're reading an adult manga. It's okay. Some of us have been in that situation before. Don't freak out. But you see poor Tom get a phone call from the woman. She just picked up the phone and was like, are you done licking yet? Like, the phone's for you. And he hands it over, and Jobin is actually, like, threatening poor Tom. So he's like, He's saying, like, so you, like, betrayed me, you know, you want to get your hands on this rokakaka fruit, like, you better get over here and look it. And he sends him a picture of what they did. And with Tsurugi and Jobin working together, they have set the orchard on fire. And I don't know if Araki just sort of forgot what Speed Kane's limitations were, or this is him showing us what Speed Kane's hidden ability was, that a lot of people call it. I never really liked the idea of hidden ability. I think it's just that Speed King could do more. Its ability was more powerful than it was led on to be. A lot of people were like theorizing that that Speed King is just going to come out with a whole new ability that's so powerful. I never really bought that. I always thought his ability was just more powerful because it seemed so weak. And what we see what's happening is that Tsurugi is making origami and sending that origami out into the orchard, and through all the chemistry, because apparently Jobin's a chemistry major now, he was able to make a flammable substance onto the paper, and he was able to ignite it at a really long distance. So you see Tsurugi just making objects right here. He goes ahead and he makes a fire truck, which is really funny. And so it's like flammable on the outside. There's like a gasoline, I want to say, or an equivalent to it. And they're in the garage, and they send this thing all the way out to the orchard, and Jobin's able to do like a super badass stand cry almost, where it's like Speed Cane ignite, and it lights on fire. And this is like really far away, but what we were shown before is that Speed Cane only had an effective distance of like 2 centimeters or something, just like OD stupid like that. So I guess this is the new ability. It just seems like an inconsistency to me though, because he hasn't said like, I can activate Speed Cane from like very long distances or anything like that. It just seems like the ability being really convenient in this situation. So the orchard begins to light on fire, and that is their plan. Their plan was to light the orchard on fire. So if poor Tom wants to get that branch, he has to get his ass back there and put out the fire or get the branch. So Jobin, he's really smart play actually to do this. Really risky as well, like I said. Lighting this on fire. So he knows that Josuke and Mamazuku are here as well, so he's luring both of them. Jobin, 200 IQ, bringing everyone out, exposing everyone. So, and we'll see Mamazuku's perspective soon enough. And yes, they are very worried about that branch. So here we are flashing to Mamazuku and Josuke in the tunnels, still being affected by Ozone Baby. So they sort of have like a conflict here. Josuke is saying, we're being attacked right now, like we need to get out of here. And Mamazuku's being more reasonable, more realistic, saying, no, there's no way. No one knows about these tunnels. It is only us. There has to be something else happening. Josuke is just more so panicking, saying like, who is attacking us? We got to go find him. Because at this point, they can see Ozone Baby. It's around them. And it's just sort of like floating around. So they know that there's a stand active. So what Mamazuku's plan was to stay in the tunnels and wait it out, saying, no, we don't need to attack. We need to just sit here and wait. You know, we're not dying or anything. We are getting attacked, but we're not the major target of this attack. But Josuke looks outside and he sees that the entire orchard is burning and that they need to move now, because although the fire hasn't approached the branch yet, it is slowly creeping up on it, and the branch is going to burn and no one's going to have it. So now that this orchard has been lit on fire, I made the prediction that I think this arc is going to be like second to last, third to last maybe, but like now that the orchard is on fire, all the main players are coming into play right now. Jobin, Mamazuku are going to meet up. Like at the end of this chapter, spoilers, if you guys watch these videos are for added discussion and theorizing and discussing what's going to happen later. No one should watch these videos in substitute for reading the chapters. Always read the chapters first and then watch these videos, because I skip a lot of panels and I just like to talk about the major points and see what could happen because of these. So at the end of the chapter, everyone meets each other. Jobin sees the plant appraiser. The plant appraiser sees poor Tom, and it says that there's like a free-for-all happening, which is what a lot of people predicted. Way back in almost the Blue Hawaii arc, everyone was like, there's so many people that want the Rokakaka. I mean, there's the rock humans, there's Mamazuku, there's Josuke. Even some people were like, Kyoni Jimura, if she ever comes back into the picture, she also wants the Rokakaka. And now you have poor Tom, so everyone was like, there's just going to be a free-for-all. Once we reach the orchard, it's just going to be everyone fighting. Unlike a lot of other parts where it's like good versus evil, you know, two parties going at each other. Right now, there's like 3 to 4 different parties all interacting at the same time. So a lot of people's predictions about that free-for-all are that they're right. That's exactly what's happening at the orchard. So we get a quick break in dialogue between Josuke and Mamazuku when we switch back to Jobin and Tsurugi. And I like how they make a point. Araki makes a point to emphasize that Owasuke is okay. Owasuke is Tsurugi's rock dog. And Jobin was like, yeah, Owasuke's okay. I saw him walk back into his doghouse and he turned into stone, so he won't be affected by the fire at all. So good job on Araki, just not like totally killing Owasuke and having him survive and be a good dog. So good on him. But pretty much with that said, Jobin asked Tsurugi to make a crane in order to light more of the orchard on fire and spread out more, and then we flip back into the perspective of Josuke and Mamazuku. It was just like a quick break to say that Owasuke is okay, but Josuke actually has like a little speech here talking about how the branch is about to light on fire, and Mamazuku's just like, I don't really know what to do right now. Like if we go out there, we're going to be affected by air pressure, so like we're in a pickle. And Josuke gives up a big speech about who he wants to have the branch. He thinks like if we get the branch, that means Norisuke gets the branch. Norisuke is righteous and only good things will happen if he gets his hands on the branch, and also that he needs it to save Holly, which is awesome. We haven't seen him mention Holly in such a long time. I guess that is still his main motivation, but we get this awesome panel of Mamazuku being as narcissistic as ever, just like not caring about Josuke at all, and just like always having him number one priority. So Josuke goes on this big speech, and let me move my webcam. I gotta read this like word for word. He says, Josuke, I'm not crazy about your plan, but that speech of yours just now, I liked it. At least parts of it. I didn't care for the other parts. But he says the line about Norisuke struck a chord with him, because we know that Mamazuku is very close with Norisuke and he looks up to him a lot, and they're not so much like, they're just like really good friends. It's like a mutual relationship between the two. They both respect each other a lot because of their professions, I think. So with motivations in line and characters knowing what they need to do, Josuke finally uses soft and wet. I swear, I feel like Josuke forgets he has soft and wet. One of the most powerful stands ever, with the ability to remove aspects from things. Things like memories, things like sound, things like sight. He just never uses it. It's so frustrating. Like, there's so many situations where I want Josuke to use soft and wet, but he just doesn't. Like, the most powerful stand. Really, like, such an absolute ability, but within the past, like, 30 chapters, I feel like soft and wet's ability, I think I mentioned this, like, a few months ago in the Urban Gorilla arc, his ability has just been dumbed down to just physical bubbles. The only time he uses soft and wet is to, like, grab onto bubbles or make bubbles move things. He never uses his plunder ability anymore. Hopefully we see more of that. But what Josuke does is that he creates a bubble around Mamazuku, which is going to keep the pressure the same. So obviously if they go outside, the air pressure is going to change, and it's going to affect them, make their ears bleed, and probably just kill them. So this bubble is going to keep the air pressure of the area that they're in right now around Mamazuku. It's going to allow him to go outside and into the open world, but keep the same air pressure. But the risk with this is that if the bubble pops, Mamazuku will die instantly. And that's where we get into like the actual tension of this chapter. Mamazuku has never been like a really safe character. We haven't known him for very long. He's an adult character, which makes him more prone to death. And also he's already been injured before, and he's also losing a hand. So ever since he lost, or he didn't lose his hand, he lost like 4 fingers. He still has his thumb. But ever since that happened to Mamazuku, I always feel like he's been like really prone to being one of the characters that's going to die, which is really upsetting because he was introduced so late into the part and he's such a cool guy and he really just got wrapped up in all of this because of Norisuke. And if he ends up dying because of it, like I don't really feel like he'll be satisfied with it. Like I don't think Mamazuku will be like, at least I die knowing I was helping the greater good or anything. Like I don't think Mamazuku wants to die at all. And like he doesn't even like Josuke that much or like what the overall plan is. Like so him dying in order to like pursue Josuke's goal would seem kind of futile for him. Like, I don't know. I feel like he'd be really pissed off if he died. So like, I'm really worried about him right now. And we see him go outside and he's just wandering around. He knows exactly where the branch is. It really isn't that far. And as he approaches it, you see the crane that Tsurugi made earlier, which apparently like lets them see further, I guess. The crane doesn't even have any like flammable things on it. I guess it's just like increasing their vision or something. I guess, okay, I think I see right now. I guess I missed this my first read through. Jobin is looking through a cell phone, and there's like a little camera attached to the origami. Okay, I guess they have spy technology now. So they finally see the plant appraiser, and this is interesting because this is the first time Jobin has ever seen Mamazuku, ever. And as Mamazuku approaches the branch, he sees something in the bushes looking over, and Josuke's like, what's happening? Mamazuku, he's not looking at the branch, he's looking over to his right. And who do we see? It is poor Tom at the orchard back again, with no worries in the world. As soon as he makes eye contact with him, he's like, hey, you see me, but you have other things to worry about too. You got that branch. And quick mention about poor Tom. When we see him, he has the Lego White House replica version of Ozone Baby. I still don't understand this stand. I don't understand the stand at all. Like, it has two physical forms. A lot of people have related it to Malone or Melon from part 5, how Babyface, it was a laptop, but it would also create like a homunculi that was also a stand, I guess. And that's sort of similar to this, how he has two physical stands. Like one stand that's like a physical object, you know, in comparison to the laptop and Malone, poor Tom has the White House replica. And it creates another stand that has a physical appearance, like Babyface's homunculi and the weird appearance of Ozone Baby we see. So I don't understand why it has two appearances. I guess that's just the way it is. So we've made it to the final few pages of this chapter, and this is where it just climaxes and tension is at an all-time high in JoJolion, I think. It's crazy to think about how the entire plot has been leading up to, like, this moment right here, and at the final page of this chapter, I think, is the most tension that we've ever had in JoJolion before, which is really exciting. So, poor Tom sees what's happening, and he's like, you better get it over there in those trees, it's about to break. So, Mamazuku uses doggy style on both hands, and he, with his right hand, he grabs onto poor Tom, and with his left hand, he grabs the branch. And there was a lot of dialogue in between about like how they specifically needed to grab the branch. They had to make sure that none of the animals or the larva, I guess, that they put into it broke or anything like that. Just technical talk, but it didn't seem to affect it that much because Mamazuku was easily just able to rip the branch off, and it looks like he did it the way he intended to. So in the final page here, Mamazuku is in this bubble that if it pops, he will die. He has the branch in his left hand, and he has poor Tom strangled up in his right hand. And then it is revealed to everyone. And he's also saying that, like, I'm not the one that started this fire. So Mamazuku is going to be pretty confused of what is happening right now, and there's going to be, like, a big interaction in the next chapter. And I like the narration that we have here in the beginning and at the end of chapters. Usually there will be some narration by the author, Araki, obviously. And this one says, is a free-for-all battle inevitable? Which is, like, confirming a lot of people's predictions that it's going to be, like, Jobin against Mamazuku against poor Tom. And maybe even, we still don't have a main villain. A main villain might reveal themselves, and then they will be in the mix as well. And everyone just fighting together. So this is, like, something we've never seen before. Like, a big free-for-all battle. It's kind of similar to Steel Ball Run with the corpse parts. But, like, really, it was just Funny Valentine and Gain versus Johnny. I mean, there were other people that wanted the corpse parts, like Hot Pants and stuff, but I guess it's similar to that, but this one I think is more split up into, like, distinct parties. I actually just thought of that, man. That is a good comparison, that the corpse parts were kind of like a free-for-all too, but yeah, this time instead of corpse parts, we have a fruit that does magical things. And with Mamazuku vulnerable in the open, with everyone's eyes on him, the chapter ends. So, yeah, I'm very worried for Mamazuku. Although I think the only one that wants to hurt Mamazuku here is poor Tom. And he doesn't look like he's in a very good situation to do that. Unless he's able to, like, control Ozone Baby while being injured. It looks like Mamazuku will just be able to, like, strangle him until he dies, or he won't be able to use his stand anymore. So, oh, I'm really worried for this next chapter. Let me know what you guys think. I really consider, because part 4 is in many ways it is the equivalent, or part 8 is the equivalent to part 4. And in part 4, there were no, like, main cast member deaths. There was Shigechi, but, like, unlike a lot of parts in JoJo, where part 5, like, half the main cast died, part 6, everyone died, part 7, like, a lot of people died. But in part 8, I don't think there's going to be a lot of deaths. In part 4, no one died but Shigechi and Rohan a few times, but he was okay at the end when it was all said and done. So I think in part 8, like, the most likely characters to die, I've said this so many times, is Mamazuku, Narisuke, and Jobin. But it's still, like, undecided. But it'd be really unfortunate to see Mamazuku die here because, like, I don't know, man, just, like, too short-lived. Never in JoJo have we had a character introduced so late into the part. Like, he wasn't even introduced until, like, chapter 65 or something ridiculous like that. And, like, he's already going to leave us. And, like, his motivation isn't even that strong. Like, I don't even think he would have, like, a good... Like I mentioned earlier in this review, or this discussion, he really wouldn't even have, like, a good dying speech. It'd be like, fuck you, Josuke, you bitch, like, dying on the floor. Like, instead of saying, like, wow, we were really good friends. I'm glad I got to meet you. Like, Mamazuka, as soon as his bubble pops, he's like, fuck you, Josuke, fuck you, everyone. But one thing that I feel like a lot of people are forgetting, especially myself, I had to read this chapter a few times to think, like, okay, like, the point of these discussions are kind of try to predict what is going to happen next, or, you know, what characters are going to come into play. Yasuo is still a character in JoJolion. Yasuo is still in the story. The last thing we saw her do was after the Urban Gorilla and Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do arc, she went back home to grab the rock animal hair clip after, you know, we had the whole flashback chapter with the hair clip. She went back to grab that and analyze it with Paisley Park. So what I think is going to happen next chapter, Yasuo is going to show up. Yasuo should show up. It really shouldn't take her that long. All she was going to do was go home and then come back. And I believe she knows that they're at the orchard. So, hopefully we see Yasuo next chapter. Hopefully she comes in to save the day and does some Paisley Park plot device abilities that saves Mamazuku in some way. But for the most part, this Part 8 JoJolion is playing out like a lot of people thought it would, in a free-for-all battle at the orchard, and it is super exciting, and I think this chapter was a solid 9 out of 10 in JoJolion standards, especially in comparison to chapter 73. So, with that said, I think that's all I have to say for this month. Thank you all for watching this chapter review and discussion. I really appreciate it. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next month in the next chapter of JoJolion. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day.